Hi Stage 1, this is Mrs. Sig here. I hope you guys are great, and today we are learning about fractions. So our learning intentions for today for Year 1 are to understand and recognise that half of an object is the fraction 1/2. To use concrete materials to model half of a whole object. To understand that fractions must be equal parts of a whole. Year 2, I would like you to hopefully understand and recognise halves, quarters and eighths, to use concrete materials to model a half, a quarter and an eighth of a whole object, and to understand as well that fractions must be an equal part of a whole. So by the end of this lesson, hopefully you should be able to show me that in Year 1 you can model and explain a half of a whole object, and I will get to our task at the end, and to be able to write the fraction 1/2, which is 1/2. Year 2, to model and explain a half, a quarter and an eighth of a whole object, and to be able to write the fractions of 1/2, 1/4 and 1/8. And I will go through how you'll be able to do that for me at the end of the lesson. As you can see here, this shape has been divided into halves, this shape has been divided into quarters, and this one has been divided into thirds. Finding half of an object. So to find half of an object, a whole piece, you need to cut it exactly into two pieces, and they need to be equal. If they're not equal, then they are not the fraction of 1/2. So to cut this circle in half, I would put a line down the middle. To cut this heart in half, again, I would put a line straight down the middle. And again with the square. So this shows you half of the circle, half of the heart, and half of the square. Finding a quarter would mean that you would need to cut your shape into 4 equal pieces. Each piece is 1/4 of your whole. So our square, you can see, in 4 pieces. Our diamond, cut into 4 pieces, and our circle cut into 4 equal pieces. To find an eighth of a shape, it's the same again, but we are cutting our shape into 8 pieces, and each fraction is 1 part of 8, so 1/8. So again, we can cut our shape into 8 pieces, 4 in the top, 4 in the next row, and each one of those would be 1 out of 8. Now, let's see if you have understood that information. Is this a half? Have a think about it. Yes or no? Let's check the answer. Yes, it is a half because it has been divided or cut into 2 equal parts. Is this a half? Have a look, have a think. What's your answer? I hope you said no, because this is a whole shape, a whole pizza. What about this? Is this a half? Have a think about it. What was the definition of our half or our fractions? That they had to be equal. Does this look equal? I hope you said no, because the parts are not equal. Excellent. What about this one? Does this look like a quarter? A quarter is when you cut a shape into 4 pieces. How many pieces here are highlighted, coloured in yellow? Is that 1 out of the 4? And are they equal? I hope you said yes, because it is divided into 4 equal parts. Is this a quarter? Have a think about it. Think about our definition. This one's a tricky one. I hope you said no, because this one is not divided into 4 equal parts. Now it's your turn to show Mrs. Sig and Miss Shamoon how amazing you are at fractions. Your task is to model some fractions. So at home, you're going to find some paper and make some fractions. You're going to include the fraction of 1 whole, halves, and quarters. And for year 2, we would love you to put 8ths as well underneath. Now I know that in this one you can see thirds there, but you don't need to worry about thirds. We'll learn about thirds another day. So we just want whole, 1 whole, 2 halves, 4 quarters, and for year 2, 8 eighths. And then I would love you to label each part with its written fraction, just like this person has done there in the picture. Have a great afternoon to you, stage 1, and we will hopefully catch up with you soon.